I have seen the Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and it is good. It is very good. I'm very happy to report to you that I think pretty much everything that worked about Daredevil Born Again Season 1 is back, and almost everything that didn't work about Born Again Season 1 is better. Some of it is like completely fixed, where it's like, I did not care about this character before, now I like them, or I didn't understand why we were spending so much time with this character before, now I get it. And some of them are like, this isn't my favorite character, but you know what, they did kind of grow on me. I'm not going to be spoiling Daredevil Born Again Season 2 in this video. I'm going to do my weekly recap videos alongside these. I just want to talk big picture, because here's, I think, the big thought coming out of this, coming out of finishing watching the 8 episodes of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. It has a rhythm that it takes a little while to get going. I said this in my tweet. I've seen a lot of people say something similar, which is good because I hadn't seen them say that before I said it, and apparently this is kind of the opinion. Episodes 1 and 2 are fine. I would say they would be like above average for the first season. You'd be like, oh, that was pretty good. You're setting up some storylines. You're kind of following through on some ideas from the last season, reminding the audience where we left some of these characters. So like, it's a thankless job, episodes 1 and 2 of these shows. But there is a time. I can't quite put my finger on a moment, but somewhere in the middle of episode 3, the show really puts its foot on the gas, and then it doesn't stop. And it is always doing something. It is incredibly tense. I'll tell you, I don't like binging shows. I genuinely, even if I love the show, I want to space it out a little bit so I can digest the episodes. I know that's not how everybody watches these. That being said, once I got to like the 4th episode, I was like, oh, I've got to finish this today, because it's so interesting, and a bunch of the episodes ends on fun cliffhangers. And that sounds like it's like, oh, it's cheap, it tricks you with cliffhangers. No, these are just like emotional moments that we want to see paid off, and like, it doesn't work as a cliffhanger if we don't like the characters or we're not invested in the conflict. But so that's my big message. If you liked Season 1, everything you like from Season 1 is back. If you like the Netflix shows and didn't really like Born Again Season 1, I would say give Born Again Season 2 a shot. And I would say watch 3 episodes. Get to the end of the 3rd episode and then decide, all right, this definitely isn't for me. I don't know, that's asking a lot, but trust me, there's something there. Do I wish we could have started with episode 3? Sure, but I don't think it would have worked as well. So I understand why you got to do, some of this work. And to be fair, the early episodes are not boring or anything like that. There's plenty of fun action scenes. There's plenty of weird world building they do that I really like. It just really does feel different when you get to 3 and 4. I loved 4. I know a lot of people are saying 5 is their favorite. I understand why. But 4, for me, when it started, I was like, oh, this is exactly my thing. What does that mean? We'll talk about it in the weekly recaps. I'll say big picture, the writing is about as good. I do think it's more consistent, but I don't think Season 1 was particularly poorly written. I do think some of the stuff in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 gets pretty heavy-handed. You get like propaganda coming from the Fisk administration that is facilitated by B.B. Ulrich's character, because then it's like, oh, the anti-vigilante task force guys are like high-fiving kids in the park and playing chess with the senior citizens, whatever. So it is kind of interesting to see the propaganda, but then there's this other thing that starts happening, which is equally heavy-handed in the opposite direction. I more or less liked it. I wouldn't say it was my favorite part of the series, but like, I've seen people complaining about that bit. I thought that was fun. You'll know it when you see it. As far as returning characters, everybody that returns is still very good. Charlie Cox is awesome. I forgot how big his emotions are, because I think the thing with him is like, watching a scene like the end of Season 1 where him and Punisher are fighting in a room. Punisher is so over the top and just like constantly screaming and making all these faces. It kind of overshadows the fact that Daredevil's also like that. And he seems like psychotic when he is fighting sometimes. And it adds to A, this guy is not doing great. He is not well balanced. And B, I understand why everybody's terrified of him. Or at least the people that he wants to be terrified of him are terrified of him. So Charlie Cox, very good. Vincent D'Onofrio, also great. I have liked his Fisk the whole time, obviously. His Fisk is great. I like this Fisk on Hawkeye. But there was a moment later in the series where like I heard him speak. I remember the words he was saying. I'm not going to say them now. But I was like, oh my God, that sounds just like the cartoon. And not to say like, oh, he's copying the cartoon, but like, oh my God, this is perfect. I guess like going back and watching bits from Season 1 of the Netflix show, looking at this now, it's the same character, but he has evolved. He is more confident. He's still incredibly emotional, but he seems to understand himself more. I think his dynamic is great. I would say the other character that becomes kind of the third lead here is Deborah Ann Wool, who was barely in the first season. But if you've seen any of the marketing, like she's in that. She's working with Matt, wearing the most obvious wigs I've ever seen. But like, I think she gets a lot to do. It's not just that she's there, it's that she is driving some of the big emotional moments in the series, and I think it worked. And then there's like 20 minor characters that I would say all get similar amounts of screen time, all of their own stories. I think what I really liked here is all of the performances are somewhere between pretty good and like really, really good. I think there were some characters in Daredevil Born Again season 1 that I didn't like as much. I don't think they've fully like fixed those characters, turned them into characters I want to see a spin-off about. But I think the show is good at putting some of these less exciting characters in rooms with characters I do like and am invested in, and then seeing that chemistry play out, that dynamic setting itself up, whether it is antagonistic or friendly, or maybe there's a flirting going on. Whatever it is, I loved it. So if I had to choose between like, oh, we can either have more Vanessa Fisk or Heather, the psychiatrist who you're not supposed to really like, obviously I'd be like, no, do a bit more Vanessa stuff. But I never found myself bored. And I know it sounds like it's like, oh, the show didn't put you to sleep, that's the best review you can do. No, I just don't want to set expectations too high, because that is something that always happens here. I just think like the first 2 episodes are fine. The 3rd episode, like you'll feel it, we're locking in and we're doing something cool and fun. And specifically, you know what else I liked about 3? Without getting into too much details, I liked what we did in that episode, because I was like, we could have waited longer to do this and drawn it out, but instead we're doing it early so we have more time to do interesting stuff in the future. I'm not going to say what it is, and there could be a million things, but I guess it was something that I was expecting to happen, but I was worried we were going to surf Dracula. Surf Dracula is an internet meme that's like, it takes the Dracula all season to surf in a modern version of a show called Surf Dracula, but like in the old school one, he would surf for like 20 minutes every episode, starting in the first episode. And like, I think there's something to that. Obviously that does happen. Daredevil is a good example of like, sometimes you should surf Dracula, because like Daredevil season 1, he does not put on the Daredevil suit until the last episode. He has like the proto Daredevil suit, but he has that real Daredevil suit that Melvin Potter makes, and that doesn't come out until the end of the first season. But because the build up and the drama and the pacing, like it didn't feel like we're wasting time. Why isn't he surfing? It's like, wow, I am going to be so excited when he finally surfs, because I feel like that comes up specifically Daredevil season 1 as an example of this. But I'm like, no, it was good. We all liked Daredevil season 1, right? It was very successful. It's why there's so many spin-offs and we rebooted it. So like, obviously there's something to that idea. Anyway, the action's great. Here's the 2 things I like about the action. Number 1, there's a lot of it, and like a lot of different action, a lot of different characters fighting in different ways, very acrobatic, obviously, still, because it's mad, it's fun. Like sometimes he's really precise, he'll do a backflip and kick you in the head, but then other times he'll kind of like lumber over and get you with an elbow. So it is both a character that I'm like, he is ruining these people's day, and on the other hand, I'm like, they could beat him. If they got lucky, if they get a good punch in or he gets distracted or something, this could be it for Daredevil, and that makes all the fights great. I have a favorite character this season, and it should not come as a huge surprise, just because they are incredibly fun to watch. And that was true of them in the Netflix Daredevil show. We will talk more about that in the future. There's only a couple of like brand new characters. There's some characters that are like in Fisk's orbit, but like the big addition to Daredevil Born Again season 2 is Matthew Lillard's character, Mr. Charles. I don't have super strong feelings about this character. It's a very similar archetype to things we've seen before, where he clearly has a lot of power, he likes to wield it, but also he plays it all really cavalier. You can never really get a sense for how he feels about certain things. I think the character's charismatic, and again, like nobody really gets to overstay their welcome because there's so many different characters that are working. So like maybe you're getting tired of the Daniel Blake, BB Ulrich storyline, but like just as you would maybe start to disengage or get annoyed by it, boom, we're back with Buck Cashman and Vanessa Fisk or something. So like I think the show moves really quickly. I wish it was more episodes, but like I do think they do a lot with the 8 episodes. I believe a lot of it filmed in the city, or at least some. And that's good. It looks and feels like a city show. There were a couple of shots where I'm like, oh, that must have been tough to get, considering where that is. It looks very good. Like I already said, I think the fight choreography is good, but also I think the lighting, the blocking, like all the ways people complain about Marvel TV and movies and everything's super flat and it's all CGI, whatever. Like this is not that. Everything feels super tactile. Everything feels super real. It feels like you're watching a TV show, which shouldn't be something you have to give points in a review for. But it is something that people bring up a lot, so it's worth mentioning. I know they're making a 3rd season right now. I will say, leaving this season, going into the Punisher special, which he is not in this season of the show, and then Spider-Man, and then Doomsday, like there are some plot threads I'm like, ooh, I can't wait till we pick that up. And I'd like that the show has become reliable in an age where so many shows take these humongous breaks and all the characters get too old and you forget what anybody was doing. Like this is a show that as this season is coming out, they are filming it right now in New York City. And I respect them. I think it's good. Like overall, I think this show really works. I hadn't even credited like Dario Scartapan, who is the showrunner for Daredevil Born Again season 2. I think he did a good job. I think it feels really cohesive. It has a vision. It has something to say. Is it giving us all of the tools we need to defeat fascism. Not necessarily, but you know what I do like about the show, and something that feels a little bit different from other shows and other movies, especially recently, it isn't pretending that they're not kind of doing a Trump thing. The characters don't say, like, you're treating vigilantes like ICE treats, people. That'd be funny if they did that. That would be the bad version of this. But, like, I believe I saw a report that during the Andor press, they weren't allowed to, like, use the word fascism. And I guess either Lucasfilm and Marvel just deal with that differently, or maybe they learn their lesson that you gotta be honest with your audience. Obviously, that's what's going on. And they're getting a lot of really, really, like, on-the-nose parallels here. And, like, if the show didn't work, if the action was bad, that would feel really heavy-handed. And it still kind of does. But I don't mind it. The one that really bothers me is, like, One Battle After Another, which is such a political movie. Not even specifically exclusively on one side, but it has a lot of things to say. And when Paul Thomas Anderson gets asked difficult questions about it, he's like, oh, it's just a movie. I don't know all these politics things. It's just a simple little movie about a guy trying to be part of a militia. And it's fine. But I like that the show is so clearly doing what it is doing, and it's doing it well. I'm excited for people to get to episode 3. I want to see next week the reactions of people being like, oh yeah, now I'm in. I'll say last thing, I'm really happy with where Marvel is right now. So far this year, we've had Wonder Man, a show that was very good and just got renewed for a second season, which is great. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is reviewing very well. Like, I've seen it, and I know the rest of it is even better than the stuff that you've seen. We'll have X-Men 97 Season 2. That show's really good. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. The first season of that was really good. You have the Punisher special presentation, which I bet is going to be cool. It'll be something. It'll be interesting. Then you got a Spider-Man movie, Vision Quest, and Doomsday. And, like, I have a really good feeling about Vision Quest just because it's interesting and it reminds me of the other shows like Agatha, WandaVision that I really liked. Spider-Man, everything I've seen, it looks like it's going to look good. The story seems like it's going to be all over the place, but that could be fun. And Doomsday, it's a big gamble. But this could be the year that Marvel needs, where a bunch of things hit and it stops being uncool to be excited about the next Marvel thing. I will say one other element of the show that I was really happy with that you kind of get back to is the Catholicism of Matt. Not just because I think it's interesting to look at the morality of something very abstract like a superhero through this more conventional lens. I mean, obviously, religion's pretty abstract too, but it's something that people deal with on a daily basis as opposed to like Daredevil doing backflips on the roof. So, like, I think that part of it's interesting. I also just think it looks great. Like, churches are really good to photograph. It's why Wake Up Dead Man looked so awesome this year. And like I said, they don't do a ton of stuff in the church, but the stuff that is there, I like. And you know what that reminds me of is a video I watched recently by Tom Scott. You probably remember him. He's like, I don't know, the smartest guy on YouTube. Like, he would travel all around the world wearing a red shirt and find some weird thing, like a car that goes backwards up a hill. That's not what it is. But like something like that, where like the engineering of this is interesting and the history of it is interesting. Anyway, he has a new show that premiered on Nebula. First episode is out. It is called England, and Tom Scott, being English, is interested in exploring England, so he goes to every county in England. Don't even ask me how many that is. I don't know. They don't say it in the intro. I kind of wish they did, because it's like, oh, is this a 100-part series or like a 5-part series? Because different countries do this differently. But in each county, he finds a thing that is interesting, and the first episode is about the people that make bells. Like, scientifically, what is this process like? What is it like to work as your job is being a guy who makes bells? How are they, like, historically important? And then just, like, seeing it happen, it makes me really appreciate things like that. Also, I don't want to spoil the first episode. At one point, someone asks someone else what kind of cheese they would be if they got to pick a cheese. Not like Eat Forever, but one that I guess feels like them. They would pick that, and that would be representative of their personality. And I don't have an answer for this. I would say, like, maybe something provolone, something mild, agreeable, not incredibly sharp, but also not overly sweet. Something that, like, it might not be the most exciting part of the meal that it's in, but it's going to make the meal it's in better. That's how I feel about provolone. Let me know in the comments what kind of cheese you would be, and what kind of cheese Daredevil and Fisk and the other characters in this show would be. But anyway, you can watch Tom Scott's England, as well as tons of other videos, early and ad-free on this video's sponsor, Nebula. You guys have heard me talk about Nebula before. It is a subscription streaming service that I helped to create. A bunch of us video essayists, and I don't like call myself a content creator, but like content creators got together and were like, hey, these platforms we have to work with, they're great, but they have some problems. And the big one is we wanted to just make great videos, give them to you guys. We wanted to make a nice, clean, well-organized place where you can go to watch all of our videos. They all go up early, so every Nando V Movies video and Nando Cut video go up early. They're all ad-free. You can download them to your phone, which is a feature I don't hear nearly enough people talking about, but is incredibly useful. Like if you don't want to have to eat up all your data or deal with the Wi-Fi at the gym or something, download some videos. You'll have them with you. The videos on Nebula are all made by real people, and that didn't used to have to be a selling point, but now I think it might be the best selling point. There's also all kinds of cool videos you can only find on Nebula. Like Lindsay Ellis makes videos almost exclusively for Nebula. One of her most recent videos was about Bluey adults, and the one after that was about dash cam footage, so it really covers a pretty wide spectrum of things. Then you've got short films like Patrick Williams' Dinner Plan, or series like Maggie Mae Fish's Amy's Dead End Dream House. Tom Scott, everybody's favorite YouTuber, has a new show called England, where he's going to road trip around England and find interesting things. That's on Nebula. And you have what we haven't fully announced, but will be coming out sometime next year, our show Subliminal. It's our first dramatic series. I wrote an episode. I think it's pretty good. I've seen parts of it now because it's coming together and been edited and all that, and it looks great. I can't wait for you guys to see it. If you want to support us, give us more opportunities to do cool stuff like that, and you want to see our videos early, ad-free, download them, and see other creators on Nebula, because all of your favorite creators and your next few favorite creators are on Nebula right now. There's something for everybody. And a yearly subscription to Nebula is $60 for a whole year. That is $5 a month. But if you go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, or the link in the description, or you use the QR code, you can get a year of Nebula for just $30. That is $2.50 a month. It is an incredible deal. Again, that is go.nebula.tv/thenandocut.